In this tutorial, we're going to look at the selection control structure. So we're going to start to create a new game in Scratch. So we'll go to Create, and we'll rename that game Selection Tutorial. Selection Example. And there it is. And the first thing I want to do is get rid of my little cat sprite. Okay, so I can just right click on him and delete. Alright, so we'll grab our grab a new sprite from the library. So clicking like so, and I want the ball. Okay, so there's my ball sprite. And I'm going to just create a maze for the ball to travel through. So I need to design my stage or the backdrop. So I click on there, click on the paint new sprite icon, and I can actually start to create a series of blocks. So I'll make them my blue color. So I select that blue color, and I'll start drawing my maze for my ball to travel through. The ball is actually fairly large in size, so I don't want to make my blocks too big, because obviously the maze, we have to be able to navigate our way around the maze. So we'll just keep pushing on here with our little maze blocks. Okay, that looks pretty good. So there's an obvious path that the ball will have to deal or travel through. So I'll now just paint my blocks the same size. Then I'm going to select a different color, a green color here. I'm going to put another ending block down here. And I'm just going to paint that the same color. Alright, I'm happy with that. And so I'll go back over here and I'll start to think about the programming. So the first thing I need to do is I need to select my ball, and I need to start to write some scripts for this. From this point, we need to give our ball sprite some motion. So this is where we're going to start to use our selection control structure. So go to Control, and the first thing I want to set up is a scenario where what we put in here will respond no matter where we're at in our executing our program. You'll remember from the first little sprite activity we did when we were moving our sprite around the various corners of the screen, and we wanted to stop that. We had to wait for every line of code to stop executing before it would look for any key to be pressed, and it would stop. Using this forever will create a scenario where it will respond to things instantly. So the first thing we're going to do is ask a question. So we're going to use our if control and pop it inside the forever. And so we're looking for something to happen. In this case, it's going to be a sensing activity, and we're going to sense for a key to be pressed. So I'll bring that out and make sure I pick up the area correctly, and I'm looking for the down arrow key to be pressed. So down arrow. So if the down arrow is pressed, then there will be some sort of motion and action. So we want to change our Y value because when our down arrow is pressed, we want to move the direction of the sprite in the Y direction. We want to go down, so therefore we have to change it by a negative value. Now, it's going to change by 5 pixels every time that down arrow is pressed. And we can play around with this to change the speed of the sprite. But in this first instance, let's just test it now. So I press the start button, and I'll press my down arrow, and there we go. That looks pretty good. I can't go up, right or left because I haven't programmed those keys yet. So let's repeat this situation again now. So I'll go to my control. I want another if argument, and that can slot straight in under there. Okay, remembering that because we put this forever in, it will respond to anything in here at any time. So we'll go to sensing again, and we're looking for that key to be pressed. And this time we're looking for the up arrow. we've got the up arrow, and we want to change the Y direction again, this time in a positive value because we want to go up, and I'll change that to a positive value of 5. Okay, let's go with another if statement, and we'll now get our right arrow happening. So we're just going to repeat those steps again. Sorry, it's sensing, and we're looking for that key again, and it's going to be the right arrow, and motion, and this time we want to change our X value in a positive value because we want to move to the right, and we'll repeat again. So if, and our motion, sensing, sorry, so we're looking for a key press. This time it's left arrow. Our motion is moving in the X direction. And sorry, I've made a mistake here. It's change X by -5. And you see I've made the same mistake there. I'm setting Y to 5. That is not the right thing to do. So I need to drag that one out. Come on. And I need to change Y by my +5. So if you do make a mistake, you can pull this apart and you can just bin the things that you've made wrong and bring back the correct one. Okay, so at this point we can now test our sprite, and we should have movement. There's down, there's up, there's right, there's left. Perfect. Okay, now we need to think about a consequence if our sprite hits the blue walls. We actually want the thing to reset. So once again, we're going to set up another if statement. And below the one above. And this time, we want to think about what happens if our sprite is actually touching a color. So if the sprite is touching a color, and I can just click on the color there, and then I can go out and select the appropriate color, so any of my blues. This time what I'll do is I'll send the ball home. So I'll go to motions, and this time I do want to set X and Y values again back to our beginning values. So this time I am setting back to our beginning values of -185 and +145. And I can test that, and this time if I crash into something blue I should go screaming back to the beginning. Okay, that's what we want to happen. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to actually end the game. So once again, if we're touching the green color with our sprite, we've successfully made our way through the maze and we want to end the game. So I'll bring another if statement out, just add it to my list, and this time we're looking for a color again. Sorry, if touching color, and I'll select my appropriate color. Then the control is to stop everything. Alright, let's just see how that responds. So we'll start our game. Now I've got the challenge of successfully navigating my way through the maze without touching the blue, and I'm doing a good job. And there you go, that's ended all. So that's great. And for one little finishing touch, I can go to looks, and I can let my user know that they've successfully finished the game by saying congratulations. Okay, let's just give it one last little test. Oops. perfect.